right, y'all. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us tonight for the most chaotic wrestling review show in the multiverse. This is All For
NAWT
NAWT.
NAWT. Yes, we're back again. We've been gone for a minute, but we are back live here on our normal night, Wednesday, 7:15 Pacific Standard Time, 10:15 Eastern. And even though we've been gone for a while, we're not going to burden you all with talking about all the shows we missed. We're only going to stick with this week's Monday Night Raw and last night's NXT. I know Sammy's shaking his head because he didn't watch NXT for a little bit till we were gone, and I didn't watch any wrestling, honestly, for like the 2 months I was gone. Um, so,
I'll
but
say this.
jumping in,
Drew McIntyre gave a great promo to CM Punk, which, if you haven't checked that out, check that out. And R-Truth is a national treasure, and you should watch this segment every week.
you should watch a segment every week. All right. So as usual, we will start with our if it shows here our Raw review. So Raw kicked off with Cody with a little Cody video arriving at Rupp Arena in Kentucky at the University of Kentucky, and the graphic showing him versus Roman at WrestleMania 40, which still pisses me off. It should be The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania 40, but it is what it is. The show starts off quick, actually. We go right basically into a tag team match with Jey Uso and the New Day versus Imperium, which, where we're definitely building up to Jey Uso versus Gunther for the IC title. I mean, that's the underlying story here, and then obviously New Day needs someone to feud with, so it might as well be Imperium, as they don't have a whole lot of tag teams in WWE to begin with. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, um, in my personal opinion, um, Kaiser and Vinci are probably, the two that are the two weakest links of this 6-man tag. But even them, they're pretty good. So it was fun. Happy to see the New Day. I do like them with Jey Uso. I like Jey Uso as a babyface. He's over. It's the whole crowd yells "yeet" many times, which is funny. And I'm
Vinci is
here
the
for him versus
weakest.
Gunther. Yeah. Kaiser's better than Vinci for sure. But I'm here, I guess, ultimately for Jey versus Gunther, which is really what this is built around. So, what do you think about Jey versus Gunther or this match in general to open the show?
Jay's not going to win.
Yeah.
A lot
Therein
of
lies the problem, right?
speculation that Jimmy's going to show up and cost him the win to lead into a
Yeah.
Mania match.
Yeah. No, I mean, therein lies the problem. I mean, it feels like Jay's not really going to beat Gunther, and Gunther's had some solid opponents that I would say are better than Jey Uso and had a better chance of winning and didn't. So I don't know. Right now, WWE seems to be on this kick of wanting to have people hold titles for a long time. And to be fair, Gunther at
Well,
least
not the
defends it.
women.
Well, there's not. To be fair, well, they don't care about the women. So
Well,
the divisions they care about. Let's put it that way.
Rhea's held the
Um,
title for a while now.
and she has though. She has held the title for a while. Um, But I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Gunther is at least defending it where Roman doesn't, and on a regular basis, and against a lot of good. I mean, he's had a good run, but we're working on 600 days now with him. It's going to be almost 2 years with him now. It's like, come on. So again, I don't
And
think Jay's going to beat him, but I kind
uh,
of hope just for something
and
different.
also, if it's Becky facing her at Mania, like everyone's predicting, I don't think you take the title off of Rhea for Becky. I don't think you do.
I mean, I don't necessarily either. I'm torn again. The whole long run thing. I don't necessarily want hot potato titles, but I also don't need multiple year runs for everybody. Right? It's a little much. So, I mean, I don't know. But at the same time, Becky feels recycled, and like she's kind of old hat, which is unfortunate. I mean, I don't need to see her have another title run. I'd prefer to see the belt stay on Rhea. At least she's younger and the future for all intents and purposes of WWE,
Well,
right?
I
So
mean, also like when you try and somebody younger who is younger, like
yeah,
it's
no, you're right.
like Tiffany Stratton might be older than her.
Might be older than
Rhea.
yeah. Yeah, no, Rhea's still very young, right? I mean,
Hmm.
so what? She's 26 or 27 at most. I
I
think she might
think
be
she's
younger than that.
24.
Okay, yeah. So she
I
might be
think
even
she's the
younger than
same
that. I
age
mean, I'm
as
sure we can
Dom.
Google it. Okay. So, I mean, we could always Google it and find out. But either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, so I assume keep the title on her just because we don't need to see Becky with another title run.
If it's Jade Cargill, like I could see going with her, but oh no.
Yeah.
Rhea's 27. Rhea is 27.
Okay. Yeah. So, uh, did you like this match overall? What did you think of this match and as far as
Um,
opening the show for this week's Raw?
it's a solid opener. I mean, let's just get one thing clear right now. This is WWE. It's not AEW. Like storytelling is their forte. Like as far as matches go in WWE, this is a solid match and it's a good opener.
I agree with that. Let's see. We then had let's see some vignettes, an Andrade vignette, and then that basically led into Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed, which
So
is
La
for
Sombra. They're bringing the La Sombra character into Andrade's.
yeah,
So, it goes into this thing of like how Cody left, found himself, and came back. That they're trying to take that approach with Andrade as well. That he left, he found himself elsewhere, and now he's coming back.
right, yeah. No, it's almost. I mean, it's not, but it kind of rings in my head of like what New Japan wrestlers do when they go on excursion, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a little bit different because these guys are older and they've already whatever, but it's that same kind of concept. They have to leave to go get better to whatever, then they come back to the main stage, right, or whatever. So, yeah, no, I mean, okay. So yeah, Andrade is back. That led into, like I was saying, Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed, which was a men's elimination, a qualifier for the men's elimination chamber. Bobby Lashley got the win. We talked a little bit about this last night at the cookout. I was a little disappointed here. I'm already a little disappointed in the elimination chamber lineup. I thought Bronson Reed should have had this
Mm-hmm.
spot just because I
Especially
just think
since last year.
Bobby's been here before, and Bobby's been here before. Bronson's been on a tear recently, and they've been pushing him. And not that this, like I was saying, to have Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley in your elimination chamber in a vacuum is not bad. They're great wrestlers. It's a good lineup. But when you could have had younger guys like a Bronson Reed or an underdog like a Sami Zayn, it's a little, so and even AJ Styles, who's been gone for so long and hasn't done anything. Yeah, I know AJ's a little bit of a veteran for WWE, but even then, I mean, he's been gone for so long, he feels like fresh again. So, we haven't seen him a lot. So I'm a little disappointed in that. I would have rather probably seen all three of those guys over the ones that are already in, but it is what it is. I guess we get LA Knight in it. So good with that, which we'll talk about later. Um, but yeah, what do you think about this match, and how are you feeling about the Elimination Chamber so far?
Um, I I expected more.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't bad. I just expected more. Also, these two had a feud way back in the day, but like none of that was brought up because none of that,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean, at least if you're going to do this, mention that they had a feud, and at least tell us their history, and at least make us care a little bit more about the match. So um, let's see. We then ended up. Let's see. We get a replay of Drew McIntyre hitting the Claymore on Cody Rhodes at the end of Raw last week. And then we get Sami Zayn in a backstage interview. Um, Even though he lost to Randy last week, he still thinks he'll be WWE champion. He was interrupted by Shinsuke, who is coming after Sammy, I guess. I I like the Shinsuke stuff. I think that he's been good as I guess this heel or this kind of hunter, whatever predator kind of guy that I like. It's made him probably for me the most interesting he's been in his WWE run, just because I kind of like the mental games, the cerebralness of it. At the same time, like I like both these guys. I don't really want to see them wrestle each other and have to have one lose, right? So,
I really
this
dig this, and it's a really good main event. And like, because their whole feud back in NXT, but once again, like, you didn't really play into their past.
right. Yeah, they should have played into their past more. I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I don't want. I like both guys, so I don't really want one to lose. I guess that's ultimately the point. I assume Sami Zayn will win, but you never know. Here's the thing, right? If Sami Zayn wins, and he probably should, but if he wins, it does diminish and takes a little bit away from this new Nakamura character who's hasn't had a win really yet. Not a big one, not a signature win in this kind of
Well,
new hunter, cerebral role, right? Heel role. I mean, he
it's
lost to Seth.
it's really
Um,
that way for both of them because like neither one of them have been picking up wins anywhere. Like,
yeah, no, that is true. This is very true. Let's see. That led into a Cody promo. Cody came down to the ring, had a little promo. What'd you think about this promo and talking about The Rock slapping him in the face?
um,
And he thanked Seth for having his back.
honestly, I didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm kind of over Cody. I mean, I've never been a big Cody fan. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. For me, and obviously his Dusty's gone, but he's always been the third best in the family, right? Dusty's number one for me. Dustin's number two, and then Cody's three, right? So, I've never been the biggest Cody fan. I mean, he's probably the best now that he's ever been, and for me, that's not saying a lot because I still just, it is what it is. Um, and I'm assuming he's going to lose to Roman at WrestleMania. So,
Yeah,
which again makes no sense. He's going to lose 2 years in a row, uh, and okay, why? I don't. That's a whole nother conversation for another night. But um, yeah, I mean, I thought the promo was okay. I mean, he can talk, but at the same time, he doesn't. He's not saying anything that I thought was like groundbreaking or super exciting. I mean, it's your basic in ring
the
promo.
thing I'm excited for is seeing the fans' reactions when Cody loses again. And I'm hoping that there's somebody in the crowd who has a rubber chicken ready.
Then we had Jay getting word backstage that he'll get an Intercontinental Championship match against Gunther next week. He was in the backstage with the New Day. And then Liv Morgan was getting ready to come out because we had Liv Morgan versus Zoe Stark in a women's elimination chamber qualifying match. And here
Oh,
again, I have the same issue that I
I'll be
have with
right
the
back.
men. Go ahead. All right. I have the same issue that I have with the men, which is that even though I don't have a real problem with Liv Morgan at all, she's old hat already. I mean, I know she's still fairly young, but she's been around. She's done this. I couldn't tell you how many or if any elimination chamber matches she's technically been in, but she's been around the block in WWE a few times, and I would prefer to see Zoe Stark. I think Zoe Stark's potential and future is bigger than Liv's. We've seen what Liv can do. As she's undersized, she's small. I think she's limited. Her character work is her best attribute, and even that leaves a little to be desired. Zoe's much bigger, much more athletic, and for me, much more interesting. So I would have rather have seen Zoe
Um,
get the win here. But
Liv has the history with Rhea, so
mhm.
they can actually play off into like Liv could win because Rhea's the reason she was off the shelf, the reason she got injured, the reason she lost the tag titles, the reason her tag partner and everything. Like and it all started because her and Rhea used to be tag partners I don't know if they ever won the tag championships. They might have. That's been a while. I've slept since then. But we were talking about Cody, so I ran to the other room and grabbed my rubber chicken. So I'm gonna proudly display that right there.
Let's see. If it looks like we have a comment, but I can't seem to get my comments to work at the moment. Come on.
I'll pull it up.
StreamYard is acting up. Oh, it's
Dolores
Dolores
says
saying
hi.
hello.
Hi,
What's up,
Dolores.
Dolores? Thanks for chiming in. Hey, if you're here watching, please chime in. We love to hear from you guys. We are interactive. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear your opinions. If you want to comment on the matches, tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about Raw, please. We'd love to hear what you have to say. We prefer to talk to you guys instead of at you guys. So the more you interact with us, the better, happier we are. So, and Sammy's got a rubber chicken. So there you go. Let's see. So Liv got the win and is going to be in the women's elimination chamber. And then we got Judgment Day backstage with R-Truth, where Damian Priest basically looked him in the face and said, "You're not a part of Judgment Day," and told him that he was going to have an execution tonight at the hands of Big Head. Vivo Lottie got more head than he got body. JD McDonough, who they're going to have a match right after the break. So go to break.
Jesse Ventura was the body, and JD McDonough is the head.
So R-Truth and JD McDonough have a match. And, you know, it was good. I mean, Ron, R-Truth is a very solid wrestler. I've liked R-Truth. He paid a lot of homage to Cena here. Most of his offensive set was Cena's moves, which I think is hysterical. So it was fun. JD got the win, as you kind of assumed he would, because he's part of Judgment Day, and R-Truth is kind of what I just assumed JD would win here. That was my thought. So it felt a little predictable. But you know, R-Truth held his own. What do you think of this? What do you think of this stuff with R-Truth and Judgment Day and this match in particular?
I love R-Truth, and Judgment Day was feeling a little stale until R-Truth got involved with it, and
agreed.
like now it's like my favorite part of every Monday. Like, and also I appreciate JD McDonough. Like, even though you know he looks like Scrappy Doo. But
I
like
like JD
he's
McDonough.
very athletic. I mean, R-Truth is very athletic too. Like you had two very athletic participants in this match here.
Yeah, I mean, I think JD needs a little bit of work on the character stuff, but his in-ring work is as solid as anybody's. I mean, he can really wrestle in the ring. He can really go in the ring. So, Dolores says breaking news: Shotzi's hurt, so Alba Fire will replace her.
Well,
In the
like,
elimination chamber. That's unfortunate. I feel bad for Shotzi.
well,
thank you for giving us that breaking news.
because I was thinking Shotzi was going to be in Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
now,
that's what they're saying.
Now, since she's hurt and is getting replaced, what do you think the chances are of Tiffany Stratton being in the Elimination Chamber?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, they said Alba Fire is going to replace her, so it sounds like they've already picked a replacement.
But I'm saying
I guess we'll have to just wait and see how it
her replacement to face Stratton, but like it's still up to them on who wins the match.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right. You're correct. That's correct. That's my mistake. So yes, Alba Fire still has to wrestle Tiffany Stratton in order to make it into one of the two of them will end up in the Elimination Chamber. Now that it's yes, you're probably right. Unfortunately, now that whatchamacallit is hurt, it probably will be Tiffany Stratton that gets that spot. That would be my guess. Which is unfortunate. I mean, I like Tiffany Stratton, but I like Tiffany Stratton, but I prefer Shotzi in that environment. I mean, to be fair, Shotzi hasn't had a whole lot more experience. I mean, she's had more, don't get me wrong, and she was in War Games and she's had some more experienced than Tiffany Stratton, but it's not like she's a seasoned veteran in Elimination Chambers either, right? Or anything like that. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. But, um, yeah. So let's see. Then um, we had DIY come out and save Truth at the end of the match from Judgment Day, which I like Truth with DIY. I think that should be
Mm-hmm.
fun ultimately. And
Led to my favorite
yeah,
part of the night.
that was your favorite part of the night.
No, it led to it.
Led to it, which
R-Truth backstage
was
with DIY.
Archer's. Okay. Let's see. We had Cody and Sammy backstage. First thanking. Let's see. Backstage, Cody thanked Sami Zayn for saving him from last week's episode when Raw went off the air. Cody told Sammy he believes that Sammy can achieve his goal of becoming world champion. Then we had a Becky Lynch promo. Um, what do you think of Becky Lynch's promo in the ring?
This is the one where Nia Jax comes out and feigns the, oh, if my mother was half the mother that you are. And
Yeah, I'm a huge Nia Jax fan, but the crowd is pretty anti Nia. The crowd does not like Nia. She is not. She's
she
not.
does her
She's
job well.
definitely not a favorite at the moment. So yeah, I mean, I like Nia, but yes, the WWE universe is not like Nia at the moment. So
Is she The Rock's aunt?
is she The Rock's aunt? I don't know. That's a good question. Is she The Rock's aunt? They're related somehow, but I don't know if
Yeah.
she's his aunt. Um, Dolores says we got Rock and Roman scheduled for Friday Night SmackDown, so we'll see what happens there. When she says scheduled, I'm assuming it's just a promo, some sort of promo to face off some sort of something, or they'll together have some sort of promo against whatchamacallit,
Well,
Cody.
when I say aunt, what I mean is cousin, but of the generation ahead, like that. Her parent
Is
is the younger sibling to The Rock's grandparent.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the family tree. I don't know it that well, but
Well, Dwayne showed it. Dwayne showed it.
Oh yeah, I know. He did show it. He did show it. That's a big family tree, and he showed it on the
Mm,
jumbotron for like 2 minutes, maybe. We wasn't up there all that long. I mean,
like
so
you,
I would
you
need time to study that bad boy.
you
Like
you got Snuka on there. You got Haku on there. Like that thing is extensive.
it is. It is. It is. It is. It is. And when you think about it, right? Like Cody has that. There's more than one royal family or whatever. Blah 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 blah. And it's there really isn't. Like when you really weigh it out, like you've got three generations. We've got 35 people or 40 people that have all wrestled, 50 people. I don't know however many are on that fucking tree, but almost all of them have been a wrestler at some time or involved in wrestling in some way, shape, form. And I would even argue, listen, I would even argue, even though it ended in tragedy for the bulk of them, I would even argue the Von Erichs probably have a better case to a royal family than the Rhodes do, just because there's more of them. I mean, it's hard to claim when there's only three of you and really only one of you is a superstar, right? Like, I guess Cody's a superstar now, but like Dusty's really the only one in the family that was ever like mega superstar guy that everybody loved. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. So it's hard to say that you're a royal family, but okay.
Um, like there's so many families with more of a pedigree. Like
I
it's
agree.
about on par with the Ortons.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. I would even say the Ortons might even be better.
But like uh Blackjack Mulligan's family. That
Yeah,
is like with Barry Windham, and then you got
yeah.
Bray Wyatt, like
Yeah, the rotundas and yeah.
IRS, like that.
Yeah,
That's a family.
yeah. Dolores says she's of Australian and Samoan descent and is the second cousin once removed of The Rock, as her father Joseph was Johnson's grandfather, Peter Maivia's cousin. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
So thanks for explaining that. Let's see. Did you have anything you wanted to say about the Becky promo or no? Anything else?
Becky's good at her job.
Becky's good at her job.
But also, it feels awkward when like she's facing women that are like 3 times the size of her. Like how you have that Rey Mysterio feeling, like
Right.
Becky's kind of giving me that. It's like,
Yeah. No, I can agree with that to a certain extent. That's how I feel, about when Liv Morgan or Alexa Bliss wins. Like they're good wrestlers, and it is what it is. But like, especially when you're beating a Nia Jax or someone that a Rhea Ripley, it's like you're a third of their size. This shouldn't really be happening. And I'm not saying it's always the size of the dogs in the fight. It isn't. It's about heart too. But at the same time, like the reality is that most of these people would be destroyed by Nia Jax or Rhea Ripley in real life. Like or even Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, there's not, it just is what it is. So you're not going to get me to believe anything different. So
Jade.
Yeah, Jade, Bianca.
Bianca's kind of like the Claudio,
There you
like
go. Yeah,
she is stronger than she looks.
for sure.
Like you don't really think it until she starts just squatting Otis on her back, and then it's like, oh whoa, I didn't know you had that in you.
Let's see. So I forgot to put it up, but after Becky, we had Drew McIntyre interviewed backstage by Jackie Redmond, and he announced that he's going to face Cody next week. He talked a lot of shit about Cody and Seth being selfish for wanting to face Cody.
I mean, I can't blame him. Cody beat him 3 times. Cody
Yeah.
beat him when Cody had a broken titty.
Agreed.
Like Seth has been carrying this title. He's been carrying Raw on his back until his back gave out. And even through all that, it's still hanging above his head that he hasn't beaten Cody. Just like with Patrick Mahomes having to have Tom Brady hang above his head of, I didn't beat him. I went to the Super Bowl, I faced him, and Tom Brady beat me, and now he's retired, and I can never get that victory back. Seth is having to live with Cody over his head.
That's hysterical. Yeah. I mean, I I really like Drew in general. I don't find the current Drew all that interesting. I just don't. He's a little flat for me. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't know what more I expect, I guess. I don't know. He just feels a little flat for me, a little unexciting. But I am a Drew fan, so I'm always happy to see him do well. So let's see. Then backstage we had our Truth Saying DIY, who we actually called DX.
Moment of the
he
night.
asked,
Moment of
hey,
the night.
he asked him how Road Dogg is doing these days.
I got 2 words for you.
For a long time, when he was doing the little Jimmy stuff, and even though it was over, and especially the 67 24/7 title, their title championships, I thought I kind of felt bad for him. I've said it on here that I thought that they kind of turned Ron Killings, who's an amazing wrestler, into kind of a joke, but he seems to really love doing it, and this is better than that stuff for me. Like I think this is hysterical, most of it. And so I am enjoying this, and I've learned to just kind of let it go. He obviously doesn't have a problem with it, so I guess why should I? He loves obviously doing the comedy, so
This man is the definition of turning chicken shit into chicken salad.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. All right, then we had Ivar versus LA Knight in another men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match, which I alluded to earlier. LA Knight got the win.
Which also a
And,
bit surprising because I figured that they were going to do LA Knight versus AJ Styles, but I guess they'll save that for Mania.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what we're gonna get. I guess. Well, yeah, it does sound like we'll have to wait till Mania to get it, if not Backlash after Mania. Who knows? I guess we'll have to see what both men are doing at Mania at the time, but it seems like that would be a natural progression. I wasn't surprised that LA Knight got the win here, just because I feel like LA Knight between these two is the guy that belongs in the chamber over Ivar. I mean, here's the thing though: the cool thing about Ivar is that with his power, he would be fun to have in the chamber. Um, but with his strength and power and size. But at the same time, LA Knight is, he's over at the moment and he's being pushed a lot, so it makes sense why he's in the chamber. And even though age wise, he's not younger or, per se, he's still, because he's only been in WWE for what, 3 years now or 2 years, he still feels kind of like fresh. He doesn't. Whereas Ivar, the Viking Raiders have been around for a while now, and they feel a little kind of recycled here and there. So, yeah, I'm happy to see LA Knight get the spot. I'm a huge LA Knight fan. So, let's see. Then Adam Pearce is speaking backstage with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, while Chelsea Green interrupts.
Also,
All
I
three
just want to
women.
state LA Knight's not that much older than Ivar. LA Knight's what, 41?
Yeah,
Ivar's
yeah,
39. So
yeah. So there you go. Let's see. All three women talk about wanting a spot in the Elimination Chamber. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark walk in, and Baszler said she wouldn't mind facing Chelsea Green to earn that spot. What do you think of this little? Who do you think should be in the chamber? You think Chelsea Green should be in the chamber? Candice Indy,
Indy.
because it's in Australia?
Mm-hmm. But it's not gonna be, because
What do you
it's
mean?
gonna be Jade Cargill.
Wow, it's going to be Jade Cargill.
And we're gonna get a spot of her and Bianca in the chamber, and that'll set up their match for WrestleMania. Because neither of them's gonna win the chamber. Even
All
though one
right.
of them probably should be winning the chamber.
Well, I guess we'll have to see what ends up happening. Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Um, I do, I understand like when you go to a country and you have wrestlers on your roster that are of that nationality or that, ethnicity, they came from that country, that you kind of want to give them a chance to perform in front of there. At the same time, it almost feels like pandering and it feels too predictable, right? Like, oh, they're going to be in Australia, so Indy Hartwell has to be in the match, or Indy Hartwell has to have a match, right? Like, oh, they're in England, so you got to have, you know what I mean?
But we have the inverse of that happening now, to where we have Rhea and only Rhea. There is no other Australian wrestlers on the card aside from her.
This is true. This is true. Let's see. So then we have the main event of this week's Raw, which was Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke, I apologize. That was a mistake. Shinsuke got the win, which I was honestly surprised but happy about. I really expected Sammy to get the win here. But I was very happy to see Shinsuke and I talked a little bit about it earlier about how this new kind of cerebral predator Shinsuke only works if he actually wins and has some victims at some point. So, and here he actually got the win, so it adds to that kind of mystique that he's trying to present now. Makes him look a little bit badass. Um, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a very solid match. I like both these guys. I was very happy with this match. What do you think for the main event?
I think we need more from Sammy. Like, Sammy's one of the dudes who I want to see be world champion. I want to see Sammy be world champion more than I want to see Cody be world champion. And that's Cody's freaking story.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. I don't really have any interest in seeing Cody as world champion. I would love to see Sammy as world champion. I'd love to see Shinsuke as world champion. So,
Or at
either
least
one of
acknowledge Inoki. It's so weird that no man has been the heavyweight champion in WWE.
yeah.
Like,
Okay, so overall, what do you think of this week's Raw? Front of the pack, middle of the pack, back of the pack?
mm, it wasn't that good. but I will give it a middle of the pack due to the R-Truth and the opening match.
Yeah, I thought it was a decent Raw. I mean, it's the first one I've watched in probably, I don't know, 6 weeks or so, since before Christmas, maybe a little longer than I guess, or since right after Christmas. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. I thought the opening match was solid. I thought the main event was solid. I was
But
happy to
it
see Shinsuke get the win.
but SmackDown has been consistently better than Raw.
Yeah, see, I don't really watch SmackDown, so I don't have a fair assessment to compare it to. I'll
Like
take your word for it since you watch both.
either go back and forth or be consistent and keep them about the same level. But when you have SmackDown like consistently being better, that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can understand that. Um, I mean, especially since Raw is supposed to be ultimately your flagship show, right? Like, even though SmackDown does what it does, it's always supposed to be behind Raw, right? I mean, it is the B show in theory. It might not be that way right now. That might not be how the fans are looking at it or how it's getting over, but that's how it's supposed to be, I think. So Raw's always supposed to be like the A show.
Well, I think SmackDown became the flagship show when they went to Fox.
Maybe that's true. Let's see. Yeah, no, I thought this Raw was. I thought it was kind of. I don't want to put it at the front of the pack, but it was at the front of the middle of the pack for me. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't. I wasn't as pressed about the time this time for whatever reason. It felt like it flowed a little bit smoother for me, and I didn't realize it wasn't until about 2.5 hours in I was like, oh, it's already been 2.5 hours. Where normally after an hour, I'm like, fuck, it feels like it's been 3 hours already, and it's only been an hour. So, and I got two more to go. So, in that
But
regard,
but
I think the show
you've
flowed a
also
little
been
bit
away
easier.
for a minute,
This is true. This is true.
so
So I
it's
am
it.
looking at it with fresh eyes and not burnt out and all that stuff. So yeah. But I mean, yeah, there were a couple down points in the middle, but I thought for the most part it was a solid show. Let's see. So we could go ahead and jump in and talk about NXT from last night. Let's see. This show was a little all over the place. NXT's a little all over the place. It opened with Noam Dar and Ora Mensa versus Von Wagner and Mr. Stone. Um, we've talked on this show. We don't like metaphor here on NAWT. So, I do like Noam Dar. I'm not a big fan of Ora Mensa. I think he's talented, but I'm just not a big fan. He hasn't done anything. And I hate Von Wagner and Mr. Stone. I can't stand either of them. So, this match
Uh,
leaves me flat. I don't really care at all about this. And this feud is dumb.
yeah.
So, unless you got anything else you want to say, I guess we can press on.
Um,
Noam
the
Dar and Oramensa got the win. We
yeah.
can say that.
The highlight would probably be Mr. Stone's kids.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Then we had a gauntlet match where Ridge Holland took on Gallus. This is weird for me. I like Gallus. I'm a huge fan of Gallus, but they took the loss here
Yeah,
to
they
one
did.
man, which is really weird. Like, okay,
3v1 in the 1-1.
yeah, and I think I mean, Gallus is former NXT Tag Team Champions. I mean, Ridge Holland has never really done much of anything except be kind of the muscle behind Pete Dunne and Sheamus. So like, I don't know.
Which
This was
they
very weird
really
to me.
didn't need a muscle to begin with.
Yeah, this was really weird to me. I guess this is their attempt to finally try to really push Ridge on his own. He's alone. He's one guy. He beat three guys, and Gallus are three significant guys to beat alone. Like, it's not like it's three jobbers we've never heard of before. I mean, this is Gallus. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was taken aback by this. And I'm not a
This,
big Ridge Holland fan, so I was disappointed to see Gallus take the
part
loss here.
part of me was just like, man, if only this was Wardlow instead of Ridge Holland.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, both of them leave a lot to be desired for me. I'm not a big Wardlow fan either, but I think Wardlow's better than
At
Ridge Holland
this,
at this point.
well, I was
Yeah,
saying for this booking, like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
this is booking that Wardlow needs, not
yeah,
Ridge.
yeah. No, I agree. Let's see. Then we had The No Quarter Catch crew admiring the Heritage Cup. They want a shot at Noam Dar and so on. Gulag wants a shot at Noam Dar in the cup. I personally, I like the No Quarter Catch crew. I'm not sure about the whole name.
Um,
It's a little bit of a mouthful, but
this is NXT's Blackpool Combat Club.
agreed. And I love everybody in it. I mean, all four of the
Mhm.
guys in it are, I'm here for that. I think it's very solid. It reminds me a lot of Catch Point and Evolve. If you're familiar with that, if you remember Evolve, but they had a stable like that where it's a very, like you said, a Blackpool Combat called Iron Sharpens Iron type of
Mhm.
thing. And so I'm here for that. And these guys are all superb wrestlers. So I hope that faction and these guys get some TV time. I'm here for that. I hope they beat the shit out of Metaphor. And yeah, I'd love to see Gulag take the Heritage Cup from, or I mean, not take it from him because it's not really defended, but maybe win it next year or something. Someone besides Noam Dar. Yeah, someone like Noam Dar. Who's had it now, what, 3 years in a row, won it 3 years in a row or 4 years in a row now. The only winner of the Heritage Cup, if I'm not mistaken, to date. So, like, yeah, it'd be nice to see somebody actually beat him eventually and take that cup from him. So, and if it was Gulag or anyone from the No Quarter Catch, I would be good for that. I'd be good with that. Let's see. Then we had Tatum Paxley versus Lola Vice. Lola Vice got the win. It was an okay match. Um, what you
Um,
call it?
they took Lola's tag team partner away from her, so they got to try and make her look good on her own.
Right. Valkyrie Lyra comes down to help support Pac or Tatum, and ultimately carries her away from the ring after the end of the match. I don't know. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
this was what it was. I didn't think it was a bad match, but I'm not totally sure what we're doing. So I guess it is what it is. Let's see. Then we had Adriana Rizzo versus Jada Parker. I like both of
Who?
these women actually. Huh?
I said who?
I like both these women. I actually like Adriana Rizzo. I think
Hmm.
she's great with the family. I like the female edition of the classic kind of badass Italian woman that would be along one of the either the wife or friend or sister or cousin of one of these made men. Let's put it that way. Um, and I like Jada Parker. I like the references to Miss Parker from Friday. And yeah, I mean, I'm here for it. I was a little surprised that Jada got the win just because it feels like Adriana's getting pushed a little bit more, but at the same time, I didn't have a problem with it. And I like both these women. So,
It's kind of wild thinking of it like now, but like Tony D, like when he came in, he was just in sweatpants and a wife beater, and now he's the dawn of NXT.
yep. Yep. No, I like Tony D. I think they've done a good job. I don't know. I'm not sure if and when he goes to the main roster, if it translates, but we'll have to see. They might, knowing WWE, they'll just do something different anyhow, right? So,
Well,
uh,
another thing is that like they're more open about sending people back to NXT now if it's not working.
right.
So that's a very helpful thing, and like some people really needed that, and it's worked out well for them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Then we have newly turned heel Carmelo Hayes versus Joe Gacy. Uh, I like both these guys. I like that.
Yep.
I ultimately like that Carmelo Hayes was the one that attacked Trick. Um, I'm happy with that. I like that he's made a change to being a heel. I feel like his swagger and style and kind of arrogant, cocky attitude leads more towards a heel than a face, anyhow. It always has, in my opinion. I mean, he hasn't been a bad face. I just feel like it's more of a, it just fits better with a heel personality. So I'm happy to see him be a heel. I'm happy to see Gacy getting the action against Hayes. I, you know, I don't have a problem with Carmelo getting the win. I don't want Joe to take too many losses because I really
Mhm.
like Joe.
I might be a little disappointed that it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. Like, example, I was watching Shameless today. I had never seen it before, started watching it.
Right.
And so the one dude's about to get beaten up by a couple of dudes. So what does he do? He insults their family before they beat him up. Because if you're going to get beaten up, might as well get beaten up for a reason instead of getting beaten up for no reason. I felt like with Carmelo, like it to me, it works. Of you're gonna treat me like this because you think I hit you. Well, I might as well actually attack you. But
Yeah.
instead, it turns out that he actually did. So all that was well deserved.
Yeah. After he beat um, Joe Gacy, Carmelo says to Ilya that he's the last one left. In the meantime, Dijak hops the barricade and attacked Gacy with the nightstick. Dijak put Gacy in a straitjacket and ultimately took him, I think, right? Didn't he kidnap him? Or did he just beat him down? I thought he took him away, too. Didn't he actually take him away? Maybe not. Maybe he just beat him up. I don't remember, but it's out of
I
my
don't
mind. But
remember. He
either way,
might have.
I'm here for Dijak and
Mhm.
Gacy. I like Dijak, so
I
I'm here
think
for it.
Dijak has a good look. I just feel like he's missing something, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one. I mean, he's been, he's obviously, been kind of waiting in the NXT pool and in the jobber pool when he was on the main roster for a long time, right? Like they've been trying to figure out what to do with him for a long time. So obviously, T-Bar didn't work, as part of what the hell was the name of that group? Redemption. What was the name of the group?
Uh, Retribution.
Retribution. Thank you. I knew it was a stupid name.
Maybe he needs to be in a tag team. Maybe he needs a manager. Like, I don't know exactly what it is that he needs, but he's missing something.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I don't think it's in the ring. I think he's a really good wrestler. I mean, his
Mm-hmm.
his feud with Keith Lee was one of my favorite NXT feuds. He's had some really good stuff. He had some good matches with Ilya. I think he can really wrestle, and I like him a lot. Something doesn't connect. You're right, and I don't know what that is, but let's see. Then we had an in-ring segment with the new North American champion Oba Femi, who does really nothing for me. I don't know about you. Are you a
Um,
Oba
I,
fan?
I enjoyed the crowd going, "Whoo."
Lexus King interrupts and ultimately attacks him, but uh, let's see. Femi gets out of King's finish, and King sneaks out of the ring. I guess we're getting Lexus King versus Oba for the title, probably at the next pay per view or PLE uh, WrestleMania weekend, right? Because they're having an NXT pay per view that weekend
Is there
as
not one
well.
before then?
I don't know. I thought it said WrestleMania weekend, but
Well, you're probably right. It's hard to keep track of all the NXT PLEs.
yeah. Let's see. Then we had Kiana James versus Brindley Reese. Uh, okay. Kiana James got the win. I don't really have
Mm-hmm.
anything to say about that. It is what it is, unless you want to say something about it.
Um, Kiana was a part of NXT that really annoyed me for the longest time,
Mm-hmm.
where it felt like Degrassi, but like not good Degrassi.
Yeah,
So
with the
it.
with the Brooks and Jensen and Fallon Henley stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, no, I can see that. Um, I kind of wish that they had more for her, but I guess it is what it is. I don't dislike her. She just is kind of bland at the moment. I don't know. Um, then we had the main event of the night, which was Tony D and Stacks versus Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, or what is it? Wolf Dogs? What is the name of it? What is it? Uh,
Yeah,
is that what it is? It's
yeah,
Wolf Dogs, right?
yeah,
Yep. Yeah. And
yeah.
I'm yeah, dummy. Yeah. Um, I'm not going to lie. I was extremely happy, but yet
Hmm.
surprised when the Wolf Dogs won. I didn't expect them to win just because Tony D and Stacks are so over and he's the Don and whatever. But I really am enjoying Baron and Braun together. I think the Wolf Dogs are great. The name is but it is what it is. It works. Um,
If the
and I
Dirty
was happy
Dogs
to
were
see them get
still
the win.
there, it would be a problem. But with the Dirty Dogs gone, Wolf Dogs are fine.
Yeah. No, I was happy to see these guys get the win, see a little bit of, I guess, new blood, even though Baron Corbin's old hat and Braun Breaker's been around for a while. Feels like a little bit of new blood, at least in the NXT tag team
Well,
division.
I think that makes
Um,
them like a perfect tag pairing, though,
oh,
because you have the old veteran and you got the new young guy.
yeah. No, I agree. I really like Braun and Baron together. I think they're solid. I could see them, I move them up to the main card.
Yeah, they are.
Let them
They
have some
are
matches with New Day.
like
And
as soon as Mania's over, like have those guys on the main roster.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So we have new tag team champions. And yeah, I mean, we were happy. Did you expect them to win? Were you thinking
No,
D'Angelo family
I,
was going to win?
I figured that they'd keep it on Tony D and Stacks because I figured that they'd be preparing for Braun and Baron to go to the main roster.
Yeah.
But they're going to get a title run before then, so
Yep.
I'm down.
Which makes me happy. I'm happy for that. So that was the main event and the end of NXT this week. So what'd you think overall? Middle, front, middle, or end back of the pack for NXT this week?
I mean, it dragged there in the middle, but like solid end, which made me quite happy.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem with WWE, especially in NXT. Of like you have segments that are just, well, I guess I'll go get a snack. Oh, well, I guess I'll go to the bathroom. But then you got other ones that are just like, all right, this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna always be like that, right? Not everything is always gonna hit. Some things are gonna miss, and often when you throw a lot of stuff at the wall, a lot of things miss. You have so many guys and girls, men and women to get into storylines and spots and time you want on TV, and you have to figure out how to do that. And again, a lot of times stuff just doesn't work. So it has that little 3 week push and then goes away or whatever, which can be frustrating because a lot of times they don't give stuff time to kind of percolate or marinate or to even grow. Um, but at the same time, I mean, it's tough. I mean, when you have so many things, obviously, not everything's going to work. And even the stuff that works isn't, some people are going to be unhappy. I mean, right now, everybody loves Roman Reigns in the bloodline, and me personally, I don't like it. I mean, I'm over it. Like, I've never liked
Uh,
Roman. I don't like his run, and the bloodline was great a year ago, year and a half ago, but it's stale to me. So I don't know, and I'm in the minority. So it's always going to be subjective, right? Um,
Something
I
happened and we didn't go over it.
oh, go ahead. What happened?
Roxanne Perez slapped a girl in the locker room. She then talked to Ava Rain about so Roxanne Perez will be wrestling the girl who she slapped next week on NXT. And also somebody's got a title shot against Lyra. And I believe they were talking about Shotzi, but
Oh,
Shotzi's
I thought we
out.
just found out Shotzi's injured, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So interesting.
So we're gonna get
Yeah. Somehow I must
Alba
have missed
Fire
that,
for
and
that as well.
I don't know.
Because
That's interesting. That's
that I'm down for that match. Like that sounds like a pretty good match.
yeah.
I'm
I don't have a problem with that at all.
like Lyra versus Alba sounds like a better match than Lyra versus Shotzi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It could be questionable. You could probably put
Now,
either
now,
way. I mean,
now,
I'm a
I'd say Shotzi over Alba Fire for the Elimination Chamber, but for facing Lyra, I say Alba
yeah,
Fire over Shotzi.
yeah. I mean, I tend to like Shotzi a little bit more than Alba, but I mean, what the in ring chemistry might be better between Alba and Lyra. Um, Shotzi, is I don't know. Yeah, Shotzi's perfect for the Elimination Chamber.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, she's injured, so that's doesn't look like that's happening, um, which is too bad for her. I feel bad for her, for
We're
sure.
like 10 days away. 10 days away. Let's get it, folks.
Yep, yep. So that's the end of NXT. That brings us to the end of the show. Like Sammy, I already asked you what you thought. You thought it was middle of the pack. Is that right? Did you say middle of the
Hmm.
pack? Yeah, yeah. I'd say middle of the pack. I thought it was a solid show. I wouldn't call it great, but I definitely wouldn't call it bad.
I'd
I thought
say
it was
moments were
solid.
great.
There were definitely some solid moments, some very good moments. I enjoyed the Wolf Dogs getting the chance the titles, and there were some other good moments. Overall, I thought, yeah, solid. I don't know, B minus C plus show, maybe even a B. Um, yeah, middle of the pack. So let's see. Anything else you want to say about Raw or NXT before we get up out of here and let these listeners go to bed?
Tune in this Saturday for Black Girl Magic watching Collision. That's all I got to say.
I'll put the schedule up real quick and go over it real quick. Now that I am back, we should be able to be on a regular schedule here on Mondays. You've got Seeing Stars at 10 a.m. Or Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is Dolores and Jay News talking about all things New Japan and other indie stuff that they want to talk about. GCW for sure, some Stardom, some Tokyo Joshi Pro. They have a spotlight every week. One of them has a spotlight, so check that show out. It's a fun show. On Tuesday nights, we have the Cookout, our flagship podcast, basically where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling, or we play Name That Superstar, or whatever else we decide to do. But that's every Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, you're here with us. This is Wednesday night. This is All for Naught. So 10:30 or 10:15 Eastern, 7:15 Pacific on Wednesdays. It's myself and Sammy Joe talking about Raw and NXT. Tomorrow night, Thursday, it will be Aftermath of Dynamite. Myself and Anika starting at 7:15 Pacific Standard Time, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, talking about the week in AEW, starting with Rampage from the week before, then talking about Collision and ending with Dynamite from tonight or the night before, whichever week we're at. Then on Friday, we have Friday Night Fights, which is our live watch along. It's usually Sammy and Anika watching SmackDown, and then somebody, either CM or myself, comes in and usually watches Rampage with them. This week, Sammy will not be there, so it'll probably be me joining Anika for SmackDown and Rampage. But we'll
Yeah.
see. But they will be live still, so join us for that. That's 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. That is tomorrow night, Friday night. Then Saturday morning, you get Under the Radar, which is myself and CM reviewing Ring of Honor, TNA Wrestling, uh, being the Dark Order, and MLW. So that's Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Then we're back live Saturday night for, as Sammy referred to and told you guys, Black Girl Magic for Collision Watch Along, 5 p.m. Eastern. That should be Dolores, Anika, and CM. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. They'll watch Collision and give you their live um, reactions and opinions to the show. And then on Sunday, Enter the Square Circle probably won't be on because we have to get caught up. So there might not be anything this Sunday, but next Sunday, we will have something for sure, if not this Sunday. But as a general rule, that is on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. So that's our normal schedule, and we should be back to it pretty good now that I'm back and can pick up my slack again. Yep, it is a busy schedule, but we do something for every show. We're here every day of the week to
It takes a
uh,
village.
that's right. And you stay pretty busy, Jarrett. I see you're on a couple times a day sometimes. So uh you know what it takes to have a successful channel, as your channel is extremely successful. Um So yeah. So unless you got anything else to talk about, Sammy, we'll go ahead and head on out of here for the night.
Let's see if this story gets finished on WrestleMania.
Until next time, peace.